Leo, the youngest acrobat in the circus, dreamed of performing the grand finale, a daring triple flip. But every time he tried, he fell. The crowd cheered for others, but never for him. One night, after another failed attempt, an old clown named Max sat beside him. "You're too focused on not falling," Max said. "Trust yourself, and the net beneath you." The next show, as Leo leaped into the air, he let go of his fear. He soared, flipped, and landed perfectly. The crowd erupted in cheers. Backstage, Max grinned. "See? You always had it in you." Moral: success isn't about never falling, it's about trusting yourself to rise again. The grand feast was ready. King Edwin had invited the entire village to celebrate the harvest, but when the doors opened, only a few people entered. The rest stood outside, hesitant. "They are too poor to bring gifts," a noble sneered. The king frowned. Then, he stood and walked outside. "A feast is not about what you bring," he declared, "but what we share." He took a loaf of bread from the table and handed it to a child. Seeing this, others joined in. Soon, the feast was livelier than ever, filled with laughter and gratitude. The nobles watched in silence as the king dined happily among his people. That night, Edwin didn't just feed his kingdom, he united it. Moral: true generosity is not about wealth, but about opening your heart to others. Ethan and Jake were brothers, always competing. Who could run faster, who got the bigger slice of cake, everything was a contest. One day, Ethan's bike went missing. He searched everywhere, but couldn't find it. Frustrated, he accused Jake. "I didn't take it," Jake said, hurt. Days later, their dad found the bike left at the park. Ethan felt ashamed. That evening, he left his own bike outside Jake's room with a note: "Take mine until I fix yours." The next morning, Jake grinned. "Race you to the store?" Ethan laughed. Because brothers may argue, but in the end, they always look out for each other.
Jake loved big parties, music, laughter, fun, so when his best friend, Ryan, didn't invite him to his birthday, he felt hurt. Had he done something wrong? That evening, Jake stayed home, sulking. Then, a knock at the door. Ryan stood there, holding a small cake. "I thought you weren't coming," Ryan said. Jake frowned. "I wasn't invited." Ryan laughed, pulling a crumpled invitation from his pocket. "I gave this to you last week. You were so busy planning another party, you didn't notice." Jake realized his mistake. Sometimes, we're so focused on the big things, we miss what truly matters. That night, he celebrated not just a birthday, but a friendship.
When David turned 18, his father handed him a worn-out pocket watch. "This is yours now," he said. David frowned. "It's just old." "Why not something new?" His father smiled. "This belonged to my father. Every scratch marks a moment, hard work, tough decisions, sacrifices for family. It doesn't tell time, it tells a story." Years later, as David became a father, he polished the watch and passed it to his son. Remember, value isn't in how shiny something is, but in the legacy it carries. Family is not about things, it's about the stories and lessons passed from one generation to the next.